Well, hello, my crafty friends. This is Michelle, the Southern Shell, and it's that time of month again for the Just Our Imagination Challenge. This challenge is hosted by Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY and Kathy Jo with Kathy Jo's DIYs. The co-host this month is Zaina at OK at Home DIY. This month we had to use wire hangers, tin cans, and a paper towel holder. So I went ahead and got the hangers coated because I was going to paint everything white. So I'm going to go ahead and take my cans out and my paper towel holder, and I'm going to paint them white. I did clean them very well, and I used a can opener that would give it a smooth edge. So these are the images that I actually picked off creativefabrica.com, and my tin cans are clean and painted. I have my Mod Podge, I have my dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and I have my basket full of sunshine. These are some of my shabby romantic pieces that I wanted to add to this that I will use on this project. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my images from my paper using a little bit of water on here to give it a little toward look so it's not sharp, blunt edges. I try to do this when I'm decoupaging. It just gives it a nice feathery look and it doesn't make harsh lines. I get all of my paper separated and ready to go on my cans so that when I'm ready, we can get started. So what I want to do to cover up the grooves and the texture on this can is I'm going to actually add some different doilies. Now here's a heart paper doily, and I'm just going to lay that down like I would, Mod Podge anything on there. And it's going to go over the edge, but I'm going to go ahead and sand that off. There you go, with my nail file. And I just came right on in, sanded it off on all of my cans because each of them now have a doily on them. And now I'm going to take my images and I'm going to Mod Podge those on. Now with my images on the outside, I want to make sure that I'm using my dishwasher safe so that in the bathroom where it gets moist, I'm not going to have any issues with this. It's not going to go in the dishwasher, obviously, but I wanted it to be prepped enough that if water did get on it, being on the sink, as I'm cleaning and stuff like that, that it's not going to damage this. So I went ahead and did that. And here's all my cans. Look how pretty they turned out. My nail files tore up, but those cans turned out beautiful. So I'm going to use the hanger to help attach my larger can onto the paper towel holder. The smaller ones, I went ahead and used zip ties because I just don't have the strength in my hands. I would normally punch holes in them, but my husband was at work and I just needed to get this done. So I cut my hanger into a couple pieces and I bent the ends of it to create this little loop around the front. And I could technically hook those two, but I went ahead and used a small zip tie so that I could use my pliers to pull that in since my hand strength is so bad right now. So I went ahead and did that, trimmed it off, and moved it around to the front. Now I can just position everything where I want it to be, and it's not going anywhere. This is where I'm pulling out my string of little faux pearls. I have a white and I have an off-white. You cannot see here very well, and I'm so sorry. I just will explain it quickly. I use some quick and thick glue, and I spaced it out there, and then I used hot glue, and I rolled those beads right along the edge into that hot glue and that quick and thick, and that held those beads nicely. I then cut some little lace ribbon that's kind of a dusty pink, and I also have this ribbon here that is the jute, and I'm going to fold that jute in half and lay it right across the front of that can, covering up where that wire hanger is at. I just wanted to give it a little more Um, I'm just, I'm a shabby farmhouse Victorian. I'm a mess. I'm just a confused person. How about that? I love all sorts of decoration styles, but I do love putting this romantic floral stuff together. I went ahead and I hot glued on some flowers in the front. And when I was looking at my stuff, I leave it sit out for a couple days so I can see how I like it. And it looked like a paper towel holder. And I know that my husband says that's because you know it's a paper towel holder. And I'm like, I don't know, it looks like a paper towel holder to me. And so I went ahead and used this doily, and I used my dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and I went ahead and gave it a good coat. And I cut off, you can see where I cut around so I can go around those little pieces on the paper towel holder. I did cut out another one and laid it across the top, and then let that Mod Podge dry overnight. Now I'm taking some hazelnut, and I am actually doing a water wash with that, and I'm brushing it on, and then I'm using a damp paper towel to pull it off. Because I had spray painted it, it is holding nicely onto that Rust-Oleum flat white spray paint, and it turned out wonderful. And so now I'm still looking at it, and I'm like, that top just gives it away, that paper towel holder. So I took the same beads, and I went ahead and hot glued around the top of this, and I'm going to wrap some of these beads just around the top to get it started, and then I'm going to cover that whole paper towel opening that we have there, and I'm just going to continue wrapping around there. And because of the paint that's on here, these actually stay very well. I am not disappointed with how this hot glue and these beads actually held on to the top of my storage caddy. So this is about where I'm going to go ahead and start pulling it. So I'm going to go across the front of this as well. So it's going to be wrapped around the whole piece of my display, and it's a little tricky to wrap 2 strings of beads around the top of that and keep them straight. But I managed, and I took my time, and now I'm just continuing to wrap all the way around that. And I'm going to get that top part covered and then that middle part covered, and that's going to be it for the beads. But it didn't take me too long to do. I'm going to do a little ribbon here, and I'm just going to tie it down with a piece of thick jute, and I'm going to tie it loosely because I'm going to stick some different pieces in between the top of that right there. I'm going to pull some beads in, and I'm going to slide them right on through the front of that jute cord. I'm going to put some of the white ones, I'm going to put some of the beige ones, I'm going to put some of that dusty ribbon through there, and I'm going to put a piece of that thick jute cord through there so that it is all just bringing this together. And then once that is in there nice and tight, I'm going to pull it around the back. I'm going to give it a nice snug pull after I add in some hot glue, because when I tie that, I don't want it to come loose, and so if I add some hot glue to that, it's not going to come loose. It's just going to pull and stay right where I want it to stay. I am wrapping it around the center a few times and then giving it a quick tie, add that hot glue, pull it tight, and now I can straighten out those pieces on the back, put some hot glue on it, and then sit it right on the front, well, the back, the side, whatever, over the top of that middle can. And that's going to hide a lot of that open space on the back of that top can. And I just wanted something across the bottom. It just looked blank. To me, it was screaming, hey, I need something. This is some potpourri pieces that I've had. They don't have any scent anymore. And that's some ballet slipper watered down. And I put it in this old cream cheese container, and I'm just going to shake it around to get that paint around a lot of those that I can. and they're not quite covering yet, so I'm going to go ahead and just add the rest of that bottle. There's not much in there. And once again, shake it really well. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. And before they dry, I'm actually going to use a damp paper towel to kind of pull off a lot of the excess that's on there. You can see me here where I've actually kind of got the damp paper towel and I'm wiping it. I am going to create some faux jewelry. So this is your little pad that usually sits under your glue gun tip, and it does come off. Mine broke, so it's not on there anymore, and I'm just going to go ahead and start a thing in the center and wrap those beads around themselves. Now, because it's on the hot glue gun's stand, the tip is actually made out of a material that hot glue will not stick to. And so once I get this to the size I want, I can then take it and it will lift off of there like it's not, I mean, it just, look at that, just right on off, and it's hot glued together, and now I can decorate it. I'm just going to take a little piece of this, that dusty ribbon. I'm going to twist it in the middle, fold it in half, and stick it on the glue. Now I'm going to take a little bead, put it right in the center, and pop it right on top of there. Now I did several different pieces, and now I can go ahead and start putting this all together. Now I'm starting on one side. I'm going to put a little collection right there in the corner. That one flower fit nicely, and I'm going to just build this on up. Now, like I said, it is potpourri. It was dried flora of some sort. I really can't tell what it is because it has so much dye on it and so much something was on it that made it hard and shiny. So I'm not quite sure what that was, but I'm just going to come right on in here, and I'm going to keep building up right where I had played with this for several hours, and I wanted something in there, and I knew it needed to be, kind of symmetrical, but at the same time, if I did that, it didn't look pleasant. So I just went with what my heart told me to go with as I'm putting this stuff together. So I went ahead and glued them down, and now I'm going to take some of those little pieces that I made. I have a little tiny piece of some crocheted ribbon right there, and I'm laying it down. It's frayed edges, it's perfect, and I'm going to lay one of the pieces that I made, and I'm going to set that right on top. And these pieces are just going to be placed on there, look like some pendants and some earrings, and there you have it. Look at that. Oh, I'm so excited. Now, look how ugly this powder container is, but I need to clean it up some. Now, I've had my powder container, and when I bought these, they only had like blue and another color, and I think I chose the blue because it was the best thing that suit me. But I have been wanting to upgrade it to match my bathroom. What a perfect time to do that now. Now, I spray painted this. I can't tell you how many coats are on here. It just did not want to cover that blue. So I'm going to go ahead and use my dishwasher safe Mod Podge. These are 7-inch doilies, and I'm going to start by covering this with a doily, and then I'll bring it down around and get those edges, and then I'm going to use the same print that I used on my storage container to cover this powder container. So I'm going to do a doily on the top, and the doily on the bottom, actually, if I cut that out, it'll fit right in that center piece. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, we've all seen the Mod Podge before, but let's go ahead and just get this on here. I went ahead and, of course, I have some on the bottom on each of the little curly parts right there. I just did a slit up, and that way I can wrap it as I bring this down and around that lid, it's not going to do a lot of bulk. It gave me just enough to fold that down nicely with the Mod Podge, still giving me the texture that I wanted. So right now I want to say thank you so much for joining me today, watching my channel and spending time crafting with me. If you haven't already, I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel. I do a lot of different stuff, from home decor, paper crafting, all sorts of different things. I just love to create. I think I'm an ADHD crafter because I flip-flop from one type of craft to the other. I just love trying new things. So here I'm putting my last coat of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge over the lid. I love the way this looks when it's dry. It looks like fabric. Oh my goodness, I just love the way it turned out. It just looks like I had laid fabric over this and not paper. It just turned out brilliant. I used the same images and created a quilt-like pattern. I went ahead and measured, and I used water and my paintbrush to mark about 1.5 inches in, and I cut out 2 strips at the 1.5 inch mark using my water so that it's a nice frayed look. I went ahead and used my dishwasher safe Mod Podge. Now once that is all done, it turned out beautiful, but I'm going to add some beads around the bottom of my lid and around the bottom of my container. I'm just going to use hot glue and my double strand like I've been doing and get those all on there. And the top, I'm just going to go ahead and show you right here, right along that bottom edge of the lid, and I'm taking it and I fold it right on in, and it sticks nicely into that hot glue. I think it has just turned out wonderful. It has, I'm tickled the way this has turned out so far. And this is my powder container when it is done. I just love the way this turned out. Oh my goodness, it's perfect. It matches my bathroom decor very well, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Look at the bottom. Oh my goodness, with the beads just helping it stand properly. Well, there you have it. Of course, the top is perfect for the hair scrunchies. Oh my gosh, I just realized all the hair that's hanging off of my hair scrunchies. Well, when I said it was a small space, that's what I meant. It was a small space. The countertop is just really small in here. This is what it looks like without my hair scrunchies on top. Everything else is decorated. I've got my Q-tips, my cotton rounds, my cotton balls. You can see the powder puff container over there. And I think I might take that mason jar and go ahead and decorate another little can to keep those toothpicks, the tooth cleaning picks in them. But guys, tell me what you think. I really love the way this turned out. Once again, I'd like to thank our host, Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY, and Kathy Jo with Kathy Jo DIYs, and our co-host, Zena at OK at Home DIY. There are several other crafters that are working in this challenge, and I would like to just let you know there is a link in my description box below to the playlist. Go ahead and log in and check all these amazing crafters out.